What's up from Ceylon Village, everyone? So I have a special treat for you guys. I'm going to post a throwback of a video I did in November of last year on my way to Egypt, Israel, and Jordan. I did a traveler's workshop for budget traveling and travel hacking with 4 experts in total, including myself. So we have an adventure traveler who does this with his life coaching clients to get people out of a rut. He takes them on crazy adventures, and he does adventures himself. We have someone else who travels full time, and they teach people how to make money while traveling, and also how to discover the undiscovered places that are actually discovered, but you get what I'm saying. And then we have someone who's a financial guru but appreciates travel and travels so much, and he's kind of like me. He does the whole travel hacking thing, and he also spends money when he needs to on travel for him and his family. So we have that. He's going to tell us how he's doing all of that. Everybody in the video is going to tell you how they're doing all of that. So stay tuned and you're going to watch it. It's about an hour and 40 minutes of great content. Let me know if you guys like it, and let me know if you guys want more of this. So check it out.
Got it. Is my sound still good? Just making sure.
I can hear you just fine.
Perfect. Everyone, I guess it's the third day, but this is the second live video during this workshop, this travel skills workshop. We got all the special guests on today right now, so we'll be able to get a chance to hear from everybody, hear the different tricks and tips. If you're viewing this live from the Facebook, make sure you follow the prompts that comes up when you click the live video. Just so that we can see your comments if you do have comments. If not, then it's going to post directly to the Facebook. So yeah, once again, welcome. Hopefully you got the chance to watch the first video that we did and was able to catch that and kind of get a glimpse of what we're going to be talking about today. But we have 4 amazing people, and I know you can see 4 faces right now, so you're like, oh, you can't count. But yes, we have 4 people, and 1 person will be coming in a little bit. But first off, before we start, I just want to thank you all for coming and watching this. And if you are watching the recording of this later on, thank you again for taking your time out to do that. And if you have any questions that you're not able to answer, right, that weren't able to get answered, feel free to reach out to whoever today talks that you kind of resonate with, or you just want to inquire more about. Feel free to reach out to them. We'll post the contact information for everybody throughout today and the rest of the workshop tomorrow. But today we're pretty much going to be doing like a round robin style where we each person that's on this panel is pretty much going to get up to a half hour just to talk about what it is that they are an expert in. We all have different expertises. It's not like we all are travel hackers or financial coaches, right? So we're gonna go through that, and then if you also want anything else answered, and you're not sure who to ask, feel free to post it underneath this video afterwards, or send a message to me, and I'll make sure it gets answered tomorrow, which is the last day, but it'll be more of a Q&A, answering your questions if you have anything. And then obviously, depending on the question, I'll pass it over to whoever is the most, whoever's able to answer that. Get the information and have that relayed back to you. So thank you all again. Thank you all for coming on, John, Howie, Brianna, and Aaron. I know a lot of y'all have different time zones, so it's a little bit later. Y'all got things to do. And then some of y'all have some engagements afterwards. We're gonna make sure we show have our full attention, and then we'll get you on so y'all can continue doing the other engagements that you have going on. So just want to say thank you for taking time out your day to come on here and kind of share some knowledge, share some info first. So yeah, let's see. So it's 3:07. So basically, like I said, we have John Haynes on here, who is, as his title says, Fearless Adventure Coaching. And if you show the bio, you would know that he is a conflict coach. He kind of helps people with, I'm not going to say too much. I want them to explain a little bit. But conflict coach, and he's also an adventure coach, and they go hand in hand. You probably would not know that they can go hand in hand, but if you go to his website, you kind of figure that out, and he'll also go over that with you. And then we got Howie, who's the financial coach. I know he was able to jump on that intro session that first day, but kind of explaining a little bit about how to kind of prepare for your retirement in a way that you are able to actually afford travel, because what ends up happening is people do not plan ahead, and they actually don't have enough in their retirement to even afford living, right? This is why you see sometimes people will go to, you see people who 60, 70 years old and they're working at a grocery store, right? Sometimes those people do. So there are two people. Some people do that because they want the interaction with people. Just because they're retired don't mean they don't want to be around people. But then there's other people that they don't have the opportunity, their retirement or the pension didn't have enough money, and they want to be able to spend things on like Christmas or trips. So Howie's kind of going to give some insight on how to make sure you not only have money to survive and pay your rent and, you know, give your grandkids presents or whatever it is, but also be able to actually go on travel, especially if you were taking the time to save up to then. And then you got the Shades, who are going to be talking about just, you know, the digital nomad life. I know they're the only ones of us that are, well, I guess John is as well, who are actually traveling the world, living that digital nomad life fully. And, you know, they've gone on a whole bunch of trips from what I've seen, and can kind of help us out on how to make some money while on the trip, or how to even allow that to tie in where you can actually, you know, live and sustain yourself while out of the country, which most people do not realize that you can do. And then we also have Gabe, who is coming on a little bit later, who will kind of give some insight of what it's like to become a travel agent or a travel broker, and kind of make money, you know, or get free travel by recommending your friends and family to go places. So that is a general understanding. And then a little bit about myself, if you don't know. I'm an award hacker. So pretty much I like to do the points game, where I help people out, learn how to plan trips, use different websites to kind of figure out the best bang for your buck when it comes to spending money, whether you get credit card rewards or whether you work for an employee who gives you a lot of hotel access, to how to actually turn that work trip into something that can accrue you points to actually go on your own personal vacations, how to turn Starbucks rewards into Delta points, stuff like that, right? So I'm gonna go over there as well. But to start off with, I just want to give Shades, you know, Big Tiny World Travel, the opportunity to start, because I do know they have an engagement at 4. So welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Do you want to start us off? Tell them a little bit about what we are and what we do?
Sure. So we are Big Tiny World Travel. We took a 9-month trip around the world, and we've had international trips several years before that. It took me until I was nearly 40 years old just to get out of the country. So I don't want other people to have to wait that long. So get out there and do some traveling. Our business is around the idea that you can make money and save money while you're traveling to sustain it for as long as you want to. So you don't have to be thinking, oh, well, flights are too expensive and I can't afford to go somewhere. There are ways to get around that. And then, oh gosh, it costs $110 a night to stay in a hotel. Well, you don't have to always stay in hotels. There are other ways you can live and, travel around without spending very much at all.
Mm-hmm. So our business is those primary 2 pillars, that the key behind making your travel sustainable and being able to do it long-term and like what we've done full-time is both bringing down the expenses of your travelers, or of your travels rather, and so that it doesn't cost as much to begin with. And then simultaneously actually earning some income while you're traveling so that you can make it fully sustainable, because unfortunately the world still revolves around money. You still need some kind of money to survive in this world. While there are plenty of people out there, you can actually travel for free, and you can even be paid to travel, but it's much harder to do that. And so for the standard regular kind of people like we are, you're going to be looking at some kind of income while you're actually traveling. So we like to focus on both of those elements. During our 9 months all the way around the world, we got really, really good at trimming all of those costs. We spent about only 70% of what we had actually budgeted for our trip. And we are not budget travelers at all. We consider ourselves mid-grade travelers. And what that basically means is We like to cut costs when we can, but we also like to splurge occasionally. So we're not luxury travelers and we're not budget travelers, but we're somewhere in between, that we like to indulge in, dip our toe in both of those buckets, so to speak.
It's also about prioritizing your money. So
Mhm.
maybe you don't need to spend as much on lodging, or you might even be able to get it for free for certain ways. And instead, you can use that money on the activities you want to do. So if you want to go do a safari in Africa or something like that, you can. But then somewhere else, you're probably going to be doing a lot of free things and saving in your costs there. So like Europe, we were kind of sticking to a budget, but we're also doing some splurging. We did some really fun like splurge activities as well while we're traveling around Europe.
So obviously travel hacking is one of those ways to really get your costs down, because then you're looking at flights and hotels and that sort of thing, which tend to be the most expensive areas. But if the whole idea of having a travel credit card kind of scares you, hopefully that won't be the case when you continue listening to some of the speakers here. But if that does scare you, a lower barrier to entry, that is a huge money saver for you, that we always recommend early on, is house sitting. So if you like pets, even remotely, if you like goldfish or fish, or excuse me, or I was going to say birds, not goldfish or fish. Excuse me, goldfish, birds, dogs, cats, horses, poultry, whatever. You can find house sitting literally all around the world, all these different programs that they offer, where you join basically for an annual fee. And once you're a part of the program, you can be partnered with homeowners who are traveling and they need somebody to come into their home and watch their pets while they're away. So for us, we are cat lovers. And so we love specifically watching cats. They tend to be very low maintenance. They allow us a lot of freedom to go out and travel throughout the day. We could even leave them overnight if we needed to. But then there are a lot of dog lovers out there as well, and lots of dog owners who need help watching their pets, their dogs. And what's awesome about this is both parties feel like you're doing that. They're doing them the other. I can't speak right now. Both parties feel like the other is doing them a huge favor, because the homeowner is like, oh, thank goodness I have somebody coming into my home, giving love to my pets and watching them 24/7 and sending me lots of pictures while I'm away. So I know that they're being very well taken care of. And the traveler, on the other hand, is like, oh, thank you so much. I have lodging and I don't have to pay for a hotel, because that's the beauty of it. No money is exchanged once you've joined this program. So that's the number one thing that we always recommend as far as like a money saving tip. And that cuts out a huge expense when it comes to lodging all around the world.
And you get your own place. So it's, I mean, we've stayed in $1 million homes. We've stayed on houses near the coast and different places. And it really just depends. They can range between a couple days to many months. So I've seen them as much as even 6 months. Like, okay, who leaves their house for 6 months? But I guess some people do. Yes, we do.
And honestly, it's something that I wish we had known about many years ago, because we do have cats at home. And every Christmas, for example, we would leave to go visit family. And we were always begging friends, hey, can you come by just like once or twice over this 2-week period and just make sure they're still alive? And if we had something like this would be wonderful, especially since at the time we were living just outside of the city, of a place that people always want to visit. It's a great place to visit for the holidays, and it would be very attractive, excuse me, for anybody who wants to come and watch our cats while we're away. And then somebody is there at all times. Well, like not during the day and while they're out and such, but on a regular enough basis, and they're getting the love and they're getting the care and they're getting the nighttime snuggles and the playtime and all of these other things that a periodic person popping in and watching your pets, you don't get. So that is on the budget side of things. Aaron, did you want to touch on perhaps one of your favorite ways to earn money, perhaps our lowest barrier entry of that one as well, since you just did an entire workshop on that inside of our membership?
Okay. So one of the bigger ones that is pretty easy to get started, anybody can do this. You don't have to be a business to do it, but even though we are, it's pretty easy, and it's just through affiliates.
Mhm.
So if you happen to have a blog site, if you're already documenting your travels somewhere, and you can use that as a platform to promote affiliates. There's some ones. I mean, I only do this behind products I actually believe in and use myself. I don't just go out and find random ones that I don't. So I do actually have stories around these products, and that usually is very good as far as helping with promotion. It's like, for example, we use Safety Wing travel insurance. It's an insurance that you can use all around the world, and it basically protects you if you have like a medical emergency or need medical attention or need to be evacuated.
Or gee, if there's a worldwide pandemic
if
that
there's
happens
a worldwide
while
pandemic,
you're traveling.
Yeah, so if you're like on the very tip of Patagonia and about to get on an Antarctica cruise, it gets canceled because of that. We were able to, because it became a level 4 country, just like the rest of the world did, we were able to use that to evacuate home and didn't have to pay for a flight. So that was a big cost savings right there. So just that kind of story and telling people about it. Like, I mean, people are on Facebook, they're asking questions. There's like, what travel insurance would you use if you're, going around the world, on, and I mean, a lot of people know about World Nomads. That's another one. Safety Wing is the one that we use. It's actually cheaper, but it was very useful during this trip. And then when people are asking those questions on Facebook, like what insurance should I use? I'm in a lot of groups like Costa Rica travel or all these different country travels, and people are asking these questions. So I go in there and I answer it, but I don't just say, oh, here's a link to something. I explain how it helped me, and I might even show a few of the benefits of it. And then I can say, you can DM me for more, or I might put a link in the end. But that's just one way to promote. You can also create ads. There's a lot of different ways to do that. And if you
dedicated blog posts,
I have a dedicated blog post. I could do a YouTube video on it. All of these things can help contribute and then earn money on the back end.
Yeah. And I mean, we are affiliates for all sorts of different things. So even the house sitting program that we use, we're an affiliate for Trusted House Sitters because we love that program, and people can sign up through our link, and then we would get a kickback for anything there. We're also Amazon affiliates, which is really, really easy for people to set up. You don't even have to have any kind of following or anything like that to be an Amazon affiliate. And if you do have a following, then you can become what's called an Amazon influencer, where you actually get like the store and you can have all of the products that you like to recommend. So we're also both video and photographers here. So we have a lot of gear that we recommend, and travel gear, and the bags that we love, and the little buff thing that we like to travel with, or the travel pillows, or you name it, any kind of travel item you can be an affiliate for, especially if you really dig that product and you want to, if other people are asking you those questions. We recently did a reel all on how to pack lighter, and one of the tips for that was to use solid toiletries as opposed to the liquids, because you can bring more of them and they last a lot longer. And I got several questions from that of, oh, well, which product do you use? Which do you recommend? What kind of solid provider do you prefer? And so I was able to send them to a specific company that we personally use and like. And so that's just one example. It's a very natural thing. And again, it's a very low barrier to entry. Now, obviously with affiliates, depending on the type of affiliate, it's not necessarily going to make you rich because especially if it's an Amazon affiliate, you're talking a sale of like $5 and maybe you'll get 20 cents from it.
Yeah.
So it's not huge. But if you have larger things like the Safety Wing, especially if it's more of a subscription type thing, we are also affiliates for the social media scheduler that we use. And that has been bringing in a steady like $20 a month. It's nothing really to write home about, but it's still something that gets you started with earning some of that income on the road. And when you stack a whole bunch of those up next to each other, they add up. And then if you can approach some larger companies, if they have maybe a higher ticket item or they have a higher ticket membership, that type of thing, you can be an affiliate for them as well and promote their product. And everybody wins for that because you get a cut of every sale that they make on that. And they get more sales because of it, because they're able to leverage your audience as well.
So for example, in Safety Wing, there are people, as a new member, I get a kickback just for a new person coming in, and then it's however long they have it. So if they say, okay, I want 2 weeks worth of insurance, well, that's not going to be a whole lot of money. But if they go do like a full 6 months or something, then that, I mean, I just got $100 on one of my last sales because somebody had a longer period of time. So these things can all add up. And if you find ones that are really high ticket, like she was just talking about, like say each unit of whatever this is like $800 or $2,000 program or something, then you might get like a several $100 kickback on it, or even like I've seen as high as like $700 or $800 for an affiliate.
Plus, there are hubs for affiliate marketers and people basically saying, look, I have a product, but I don't have an audience, and I'm looking for people to be an affiliate for me and sell my product and get a kickback, a 30% or a 40% kickback on every unit that you sell. And basically leaning on those other people who have already built up an audience and who want to make a lot of money as an affiliate marketer, then they don't have to create the products. They're just selling other people's products that they know and believe in. So it's kind of a nice little partnership. But the one caveat with that is if you are an affiliate marketer, do definitely do your research and make sure that you are only recommending things that you fully believe in and you can stand behind, and preferably that you have personally used. Because if anyone comes to you with questions, or if it turns out that any of the things are a little sketchy or anything like that, that is going to reflect very poorly on you, and that will negatively impact any future campaigns that you do for any other affiliate programs. So just keep that in mind. Be very careful with the partners that you choose and make sure that they are valuable there. So anything else that you wanted to add to that?
To affiliates? Probably not, but I do want to toss in one other one real quick that I'm working on this month, building up more of it, is if you're any good at video and just taking video clips of anything around, you can also sell stock video. And I've seen people make anywhere between, it could be $5 all the way up to several $100, depending on how in demand that possible clip is. And then the thing is,
you're talking per sale.
And
which it can sell multiple times.
But yes, that's the beauty of it. The more you have up there, the more these can sell multiple. I have one that sold 4 different times, and it's made me several $100s. And it's just depends on what it is. But so these clips are things that advertisers might use, or people, like, even if I am creating a video and I don't have a certain clip of something and I need it, I can go buy it off of a stock agency website. But so those kinds of things like are really helpful, and it's just one more way to make money on the side. And it really doesn't take a whole lot of effort as long as you're out there already shooting. If you're already a traveler and you're just taking clips of different things, different scenes. Obviously, if you have any people in them, you need a model release. But things with people do sell. So if you do have friends with you that can, do certain acting or anything in these clips, then that could be useful.
So that's just kind of a real rough rundown of kind of the 2 main pillars that we have that we teach, and there are so many more. So I talked about like 1 or 2 major ways that you can save money while you're traveling, and we have a whole collection of like 101 of these different ways that you can save money. And Aaron touched on just 2 different ways that you can make money, and we've compiled at least over 30 different ways, that practical ways, and not the scammy kinds of ways, the things that people are always asking in these groups. How do you make money while you travel? And they're instantly in there of, oh, join my MLM, or, oh, I made $5,000 a week in trading cryptocurrency. And it's like these kind of icky scam kinds of things. And this is none of that. These are actual practical ways that you can make money while you're traveling. And it's usually the kind of thing where you want to stack several of these, because if one starts to dip, then you've got others, and you're not putting all of your eggs in one basket, and you're able to put effort in certain things at different times and that type of thing. So there are a lot of strategies around that to actually making it sustainable, but those are some initial that's what we can provide in like 10 minutes of if you want to get started, and if you want to travel more as quickly as possible. Those are the things that we would start with right off the bat. So I think that's about what we have. If anyone has any questions, we're happy to answer that, either from any of the other panelists or anybody in the audience or anything like that.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, hey, when you talk about safari, which one were you referring to?
We actually did a self safari in Namibia, which is actually much cheaper than like your guided safaris that you'll find in Tanzania and such. Namibia is one of these like hidden gems that a lot of people don't ever even think about, but it offers pretty much exactly the same kinds of things, if not more. And you can go to like Etosha National Park there and drive all throughout the park and see all of the same animals, if not more, and it's much more affordable that way.
Yeah. I mean, the truck was about $120 a day, which isn't exactly cheap, but that's your lodging and your transportation. So it really didn't matter all that much to us. And then the park fees weren't too bad. And we camped there with our truck with a little pup tent on top and everything, fully equipped. And just buying food while we were there. And it was pretty reasonable.
It's crazy because you're like the second or third person in this like the last 2 or 3 months that has mentioned that country. And
I love Namibia. It was one of my favorites.
Well, it's more than just wildlife. There's just
That's
these crazy landscapes there that are beautiful, and
tallest dunes in the world,
sand dunes to climb. And yeah, there's just a lot of variety there, and there's not many people there. So
native tribes.
And we did meet native tribes too. We met 2 native tribes while we were there.
Crazy geology.
Oh yeah.
It's
cool.
Just a wonderful country.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I did learn that, and I actually told my wife that when I saw your post with the cat about cat sitting, and I was like, "Oh, what? I've never even heard about that. Like, thought about that."
A lot of people haven't.
Yeah, and someone else just
a way to travel
along the lines of there's a website, couch surfing.
Yeah, we do that too.
And they mentioned that, and I was like, and basically what couch surfing is, it's kind of like people are giving you free lodging at their place, right? The example that I heard was that one of our friends said she did it like some years ago, and it was a guy, she went to Thailand, and it was a guy who was Australian, and his wife was Thai, and they had 5 kids. And she was like, why are you couch sitting? Like, why are you couch sitting me when you have 5 kids, and they're young? Wouldn't you be like scared? And his answer was like, I would have never thought about this. His answer was, my kids, they're here all the time. I don't want them to think that this is the only thing in the world. So instead of, I can't travel with them. So instead I host people so that they can get those experiences. And I was like, so one benefit of
we have something very similar.
We have people who will host couch surfers as well, and we always learn something new from them. And so I would argue that is an amazing educational opportunity for those kids.
And I was like, that's crazy, because I was thinking, I'm like, why? And he's like, he did it for 15 years and he didn't want to stop it. And that's, you might be like, this is too good to be true. Why would people host me on their couch or their spare room, right, when I'm not paying anything? Sometimes they allow you to meet up for food and stuff like that. But sometimes it's to interact with people. Maybe it's to help brush up on their English or whatever language you speak, or just even to teach educational things to the kids, stuff like that. So thank you so much for sharing that. And then please feel free to share how, I know we've mentioned it already, how people can learn more about yourself or social medias.
Sure. So our main website is bigtinyworld.com, and we are most active on Instagram and TikTok. Instagram is Big Tiny World Travel, and TikTok, I believe, is just Big Tiny World.
It is.
So that's you're welcome to hit us up there, and we're happy to answer any questions. This is our jam. This is the kind of thing that we love to post about on all of those channels and on our website and such. And we got lots of resources. It's funny when you're talking about free lodging, we have an entire blog post on like all of these different kinds. So it's not just couch surfing, but it's also service and warm showers and the different house sitting programs and different home exchange programs and all sorts of ways just for free lodging. So there's so many resources out there.
Got it. Thanks for sharing. I'm not following you guys on TikTok, but I am on Instagram, and the reels that you have your husband do, the silly traveler thing, is funny. Make sure
yeah, she gets me to monkey around quite a bit.
But you enjoy it.
Well, thank you so much. Y'all can stay on a little bit longer if y'all want to, or y'all can just head off so you have more time to prepare for your thing. But thank you so much for getting on and sharing with us. Make sure you guys follow them and go check their stuff out. Ask them. And I do believe on their website they even have I got sent it as well, a free ebook or something like that. I think it was.
Yeah, we have a free income guide actually right there on our homepage that if you're looking on ways to earn money while you're traveling, it's a downloadable PDF. It has a nice little flow chart to help you decide exactly what kind of income is best for you, and a whole bunch of resources on how to get started with each of them.
Got it. Yes, thank you. All right, John, I know you have another engagement at 4:15. Do you want to get started with what you got to offer?
Sure thing. Can everyone hear me all right?
You're good.
Perfect. That was really amazing to hear from Big Tiny World Traveling. Always looking for new trips or new ideas, tips and tricks when you're out traveling. So a little bit about me. I am a full-time life and adventure coach. And so what that means is that I take the approach of coaching, which is ultimately, at the end of the day, a lot of the things that gets in the way of our success, our fulfillment, our purpose, our values, are these fears, insecurities, lies that we end up telling ourselves. And so as a life coach, I work with people, helping them to move past that. As an adventure coach, I also work with some of my clientele in creating experiences that help them move past that. And part of what all really started this for me has come from my love and my own personal experience of traveling, being outside, getting outside of my comfort zone. Before, I think the first time I ever really went hiking was when I was 23 years old. I avoided the outdoors like the plague. None of my friends in college or high school could get me to do anything remotely active. I had no desire to travel. I had no crazy things. That wasn't me. And now I'm known as the adventure guy. So basically what happened is I quit my first job that I had out of college. And I had also recently had my heart broken. And I decided I was just going to travel for 2 months, go to 10 different countries. And I was going to do things that I had never done before. And so that included, the first time I ever went snorkeling in my life was in between tectonic plates in glacial meltwater. The first time I went hiking was on an active geothermal mountain in Iceland. The first time I dove into a body of water was 120 feet attached to a bungee cord in New Zealand. And what I really learned from that time and that experience and that adventure was that, one, pushing myself to do things that were outside of my comfort zone. And I know it sounds crazy, helped me to actually grow as a person. But also I saw myself doing things that I said I would never end up doing. And I hear that a lot. I hear when people see the things that, whether I do them or, they see people who travel a lot do them. And they think I would never make the time for that. I would never be able to do something like that. It all really starts with kind of baby steps. And it's a different path for everyone. And one of the things I really recommend, and what I want to spend time talking about today, is really making the most of your travel. Not just a leisure trip, but a truly restorative time that helps you to really grow as an individual, but really find fulfillment out of life. And I always recommend to people, because I think the biggest issue I meet with a lot of people who travel is that there's this idea that there are certain things you have to enjoy, and there are certain things that you have to do if you're spending your limited time and your limited money traveling somewhere, and you're supposed to feel a certain way. If you pay a certain amount of money for an experience that you don't even really enjoy, you kind of tell yourself, no, I'm supposed to enjoy this. I'm supposed to like this. Or there's this pressure to put on an image that you're having a great time. Or, maybe it is just for the gram and you do these activities you wouldn't want to do so that you can show other people, hey, this is my life. I'm doing something with it. And what that tends to do is that tends to detract away from the experience. But it also tends to detract away from our own authenticity. And what I mean by that is one of the things I recommend is just journaling when you try new things, when you travel, when you go out there. Journal what you like and what you dislike about something. And I think this is a profound activity that really goes a long way. Because what you'll find if you travel a lot or you make time for travel is that you'll end up being able to understand what I like, what I dislike, what I want to spend my time on. And you'll be able to remove that pressure from either others, ads, whatever sources that say when you go here, when you travel, you need to spend your time and money doing that. And that's a big relief. It takes a lot of the pressure of I should be doing something or I should be enjoying this. And that can ruin a lot of people's vacations. It can make them stressed. It can make them anxious. You come back from the trip feeling like you didn't do enough, or that you just missed out on an opportunity, or that you wasted your money. And then you end up becoming more drained leaving than you were before you got there. And it really can turn people off from the experience of traveling altogether. And now I'll even wind up going to places. I just spent a month in Norway. And a lot of what got me to want to go to Norway was I saw, these amazing posts of these amazing mountains. And I said, I need to hike there. I need to go there. I need to experience that. And after doing some research, I found, these are some giant, a lot of people are there, big tourism, long waits and queues because of all the people just to hike to a specific space. You got to wait in line to take your picture at the spot. And I've known from my own experience that, I like being alone out in the mountains. I like the quiet. I like the stillness of it. And that no matter how pretty a view, no matter how good of a picture I can get, that's always going to take away from being able to maybe go somewhere more obscure and maybe not even as pretty, but I know I'm going to have a better experience doing that. And so I was able to take the whole month, skip all these activities of things that, most people do. And I had a great time, and I found and discovered places that people really didn't travel to, got to meet a lot of locals, got to get integrated with the the culture, and those provide real opportunities to restore yourself, to grow, to be able to look inward, and have a great experience that really sticks with you as you move forward. And so I think, again, it's always important, especially if traveling is a big part of what you want your lifestyle to be. And for those who travel a lot, you understand that it does become a lifestyle and not just something that you do. And so something I do to really be able to challenge myself to continue to grow when I do travel is the first step is just being very intentional about that. And so, you know, while you're planning out your trip, whether you're a big time planner, you plan out every hour of what you're going to do every single day, or you're a more spontaneous traveler to where you just wake up, you walk in a random direction, you sit down in a random place and you meet a random stranger and you just go with whatever is going with you. I always say it's super important to just create time to reflect on your experience, whether day to day, every other day, but create time for that reflection. Create a time to be able to actually be authentic with yourself if you're traveling with a partner or friends, even being able to do that as a group, and really prioritize that time as an integral part of your travel experience. Because in the moment, you're not going to be able to get a better reflection than if you waited till after your trip, when you're worried about, you know, what you have to do at work, all the responsibilities, all the time that you took off. So that's the first thing. The other thing is do activities that get you out of yourself, out of your comfort zone, that are fun for you, and aren't, again, for the social media, the Instagram post, isn't for that. If you feel like you need to post about it or it needs to be seen, scrap it. And do those activities, because what you'll find is that when people spend a lot of time traveling and just traveling for leisure, sitting on a beach, not really doing anything, that's actually when a lot of people feel like they just, you know, they get back, they feel burnout right away when they come back to work. They're just thinking about, you know, all the time that they had off. And it leads to burnout really quickly. And that's actually what leads most to kind of this idea of needing a vacation from your vacation, not because your vacation was so stressful, but because you feel like you can't function when you get back. And part of that is because if you spend your time traveling and you completely switch your schedule, how you sleep, how you eat, how you live your life, in an unsustainable way that you can't maintain when you come back home, it's going to have a negative impact. And so what you want to do is, because life itself is filled with things that are fun, mundane, outside of our comfort zone, routine, I like to encourage as much as possible, again, do something different, do something local, take some time to rest that you normally wouldn't, but put in activities that are going to translate to your day-to-day back home. And that I think that's the best travel advice I can give, because it allows you to do something different, and gain the restoration from that new experience. And whether it's going on a hike, walking around the city, meeting new people, interacting, connecting, whatever it may be that imitates what you do when you're back home, just in a different way. That way, when you do get back home, you're not going to feel like your whole world has shifted around. And you're going to be able to really enjoy what you took, but also bring it back and propel your life forward so that you do gain something from your experiences instead of looking back and longing to do something that you have to wait another 6 months for. And when we spend a lot of our time looking back and not being able to stay present or be optimistic about the future, that's what leads to a lot of dissatisfaction as we go through. And so I see this from a lot of people who travel, where they end up depending on traveling to stay happy, to stay sane. And again, it's just an unsustainable way of living. Because you can't, you know, like was even mentioned earlier, you can't always guarantee travel. A global pandemic, or, you know, you have a major injury. So you want to figure out what is a way that I can approach travel in a sustainable means. And so a big part of figuring that out is really kind of taking a self-inventory, asking friends and family, even having mentors that you really trust in your life to help point out, okay, what would be a realistic way of going out, traveling that meets a lot of the values and activities that I do on a day-to-day basis. And so that is a big part of how I spend internally researching and planning for my trips. But outside of that, I think just general travel advice to, if you want to have an adventurous, unique travel experience that not a lot of people get to have. Again, I always tell people, avoid the tourist hotspots. Honestly, if you go to a tourist hotspot, it's more likely going to be an experience that you'd be able to get back home, because what they want to do is they want to cater to all the people that are traveling. And so the food, the culture, how things work are going to be more familiar to that. And even if they aren't, there's just going to be a ton of people that really detracts away from what's going on. So whether it's you know, an amazing hike, a museum, a certain area within a city, you can usually find something of similar, if not better quality, if you spend a little time doing some research of the surrounding area. So for example, I love to hike. I love to be out in the mountains. I find that incredibly restorative. I like to, you know, work with people within that environment to help them see things from a different perspective. And so instead of looking at the best hikes to go in a certain area, I turn on Google Earth and I look at some of the mountains that I think are really cool. And then I cross-reference to see, you know, is this a popular destination? If not, is there an actual hiking trail that I can go on? And those have been some of the best hikes, the best experiences I've been able to have, and I've been able to take people on and have, because it is either remote, and so we get this you know, solace, unique experience in a very beautiful place, or usually if you go off the grid away from these tourist spots, you'll meet a lot of locals. You'll meet a lot of people who spend their life and their time there. And that is the best way, whether you're at a museum, whether you're on a hike, whether you're at a restaurant, and you're sitting down with the people who locally live there. That is the best way to experience a place, a culture, to be able to connect and meet and learn and grow. Just like they were even mentioning earlier with the couch surfing, to where you gain these valuable experiences by hearing about other people's lives in a context, country, worldview that's just completely different and foreign to you. And when you get to listen and when you get to hear other perspectives that you would never consider of in the first place, it broadens you as a person to be able to look at your own life as well as other people's lives through various perspectives. And really, I joke with people, this is what I spend time doing. As a coach, I spend time just telling people nicely to look at things from a different perspective. Because I can sit down with someone and agree, yes, this bad thing happened to you. A lot's going on. Your life sucks. Everything's unfair. Boo-hoo. And while in the moment you may feel great that somebody hears you and agrees with you, settling on the conclusion that your life stinks and is unfair makes a pretty sad way to live your life, as opposed to, as things come at you, as the unexpected hits, as global pandemics come, as just the general wear or monotony of life settles on you, what outlook, what perspective can you hold on to that's going to help you stay grateful? That's going to help you stay looking forward to the future. And so when you approach travel in a way that is sustainable, that's focused not on what other people see, but that's focused on your personal growth, and that allows you to be authentic and really ask yourself what you like, what you dislike, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy, and integrate with yourself as a person as well as with the local community there. That's the type of travel that's going to give you these perspectives to maintain gratitude, to maintain your values when you get back from the trip. And it's the type of thing that's going to make your future travel more sustainable, just on an emotional and mental level, to have the capacity, but as well to thrive when you get back and not have that travel hangover and that longing to go back. And that's actually what I do. I usually travel 2 weeks to a month at a time. And I come back and I have amazing times. And I come back excited for what I learned to bring that back to my general life. And, you know, and I'm not itching, you know, the next day, the next week to go back, because I really want to integrate what I took from my experience. And so, yeah, I think that's what I have for you guys today. If you feel like, whether just through travel or in life, you really have a hard time taking your experiences, what's going on, and using that as a way to propel you forward to move past your limiting doubts, beliefs, whether you find pursuing the things that are most important to you or that you want to do, or personal growth, or just find it hard to really make that time for yourself, I always encourage coaching. You can check out my website. It's fearlessabc.com, or my Instagram, which is unanchoredjohn. Any questions, I'm happy to answer. I'm pretty active on both platforms. And I always offer people a free session of coaching to really see if it's a good fit for them. And being able to integrate both this opportunity to grow, challenge one's perspective while traveling really does create an experience that lasts a lifetime and propels your growth forward. So that's all I got for you guys.
Thanks, John. Thank you. Thank you so much. Before I kind of recap, someone asked, what mountain did you love the best? Did you enjoy out of all the mountains you've climbed?
That's a great question. So I will say, and I say this truthfully, and it ties in, I think everything I've been trying to preach here, was a mountain I actually fell off of. So I was on a mountain peak called John's Hornet in Norway. There's not a lot of information about it. It's a very, not a remote location, but kind of a local only hiking spot. And you hike about 2,000 feet up on a gradual incline, and then you kind of scramble 2,000 feet up, and you have a view of the fjords, you have a view of a whole mountain range, you have a view of a mountain lake. But it's an intense scramble, which I love. I'm a huge rock climber. But I actually, on my way down, I fell 30 feet. I slid 10 feet, free fell 10 feet, slid 10 more feet, and grabbed onto a rock before falling off to my death, which was at the time a hugely jarring experience. I thought I had fractured my leg, twisted my ankle, fractured my arm. I was in a lot of pain. But ultimately, because I was out there hiking by myself, and let people know where I'm at, but at the time I was alone. It was at the end of the day, and it was cold. So I had to make the decision that despite how I felt, I needed the safest option would be hiking back down. And I remember on my way down thinking, oh my gosh, I was so stupid. I should have been more careful. What if my leg is broken? Am I just going to make it worse? And I thought, if I spend the next 4 hours thinking about that, I'm going to be absolutely miserable. And so intentionally, I took the next 4 hours to just be reminded of how grateful I was that I was alive, of the amazing view I had at the top of the mountain, going down the mountain, just the opportunity that I had to be out there. And spending 4 hours thinking about that and what I was grateful for, even though I was in a ton of pain and I had no idea what was going on. Luckily, I was okay at the end of it. But that really made it the best hike of my life, because I've never, ever spent 4 concentrated hours thinking about how lucky and grateful and blessed I am. And the views were amazing. Norway is just, anywhere you go up there, you see the sea, you see fjords, you see other mountain ranges. You really can't go wrong with any hike.
Did you get any drone shots of that, or any good photos?
I did.
Never know.
Yeah, check out my Instagram. Some of my more recent posts will actually show where I fell.
People don't know what went into that. Got it. Well, thanks. Yeah, thanks for sharing. I think this is great stuff especially about like the whole needing vacation from vacation. It's something that when the times people ask me, I always tell them like, hey, this is how I plan trips. What I plan trips is usually, especially if it's a group of people, half the time is unplanned and the other half is planned, right? The one half is planned is like, okay, what are some things like it might be a little bit of that Instagram moment or that like crowded area moment where I'm like, hey, I'm going here. What do I have to see? Like, what would I regret not seeing? Like, this is something I can't get, right? And then the other half, I don't plan. What I do is I end up going. We end up having lunch or whatever. Even if we don't do couch surfing or whatever it is, we end up having lunch. We talk to the hotel staff. We talk to the waitress, the waiter. Hey, what are some things we should check out? We join Facebook groups. What are some things that we should check out to kind of get what the locals recommend? Because oftentimes you don't see that stuff online, right? You just see what tourists recommend. The tourists are saying this is a 5 out of 5, but then the locals are like, that's a 3. This is a 5 out of 5, right? So I think that's how we plan it. And same thing, like, and that's why I have Howie on this as well. Howie won't really be talking too much about like this next part, but mini retirements is something that a lot of people are doing right now. I forgot what it's called. The whole FIRE program. There's one where it's these mini retirements where every 5 years, every 3 to 5 years, you retire and you go for a trip for 1 to 6 months or something, 2 to 6 months, and then you come back to work and then you do it again. You know, that's something that's to get a little bit more regular, because what people think is, hey, just one trip a year or wait till you retire. And oftentimes people get injured or stuff like that and they can't really enjoy their retirement. Or just when they come back from vacation, they're dreading like, oh, I can't wait till next year. I used up my PTO. I can't wait till next year. But now making this more of a thing, even if you have a 5-day weekend, like plan something there, a good drive somewhere, you know, I'm in California, there's so many hikes. And during one of these contract jobs that I got, that's the thing I like, is that we get to explore all of California. And, you know, days after work, we get off 3 or 4 p.m. when I go there, and let's find something to do. Let's go to some local hike. Let's go, like, and there's so much I've been able to experience by doing that. And it's the same thing I get to experience when I travel to other countries, is like seeing what the locals kind of recommend and not going with the flow on certain days and then planning the other days. So I do recommend that. And I think that's something that's great, right? Making sure that you come back relaxed or rejuvenated. Whether you went to, just because you go out of the country, like me, you don't have to plan every single thing. You can just relax, right? You can relax at the beach. You can relax at the hotel room. You can get out maybe 1 or 2 days out of the week that you go do something, but the other times just relax. Or if that's what you like, do that. If you like more adventure, go plan stuff out, go places, right? But don't do what other people do. Do what makes you happy, right? So yeah, thanks for sharing that. Please make sure you go visit his website and then follow him on Instagram, check out his photos and all of that. Thanks for sharing, John.
Thanks for having me on.
Let's see. Cool. So if you have any questions for anybody that's talked so far, make sure you go ask on the Facebook or send me a message and I'll direct that to them. Howie, are you ready? Cool. Let me make you the solo layout. There you go. Oh, we can't hear you.
Mute button.
We're good.
All right, thank you guys. Hey, before I start, I just want to say I was really impressed with John and also with Brianna, and forgot the guy's name, but really appreciate just all the stuff that I heard. So I love to talk about finances, just like how everyone loves to talk about travel here. So eventually, hopefully I'll get there one day where I will talk about my travels more than I talk about investing.
Hey,
So
you've had some trips where, you know.
I have a lot of stories, and I'll tell you. So let me start off with just a quick background. I am a financial coach, and I do have a family of 5. So I started my career doing a lot of business travel. I did about 500 or 600 nights in a hotel when I worked in corporate America. Now, the beauty of it is I haven't done any business travel in 10 years. And that's the reason why I got into travel hacking, right? I needed to figure out, how am I going to travel if I'm paying for it? Whereas if I did business travel, no one cares, right? Everything is paid for by someone else. And in the world of finances, there's generally just 2 spectrums. There's the person who spends everything they have so they can live large, right? Spend on travel, spend on cars, spend on food, clothes, jewelry, whatever. But they have no money. And then the other side of the spectrum is what McKinley mentioned, is the FIRE movement. Those are people who save like 40% or more of their annual income. And the problem with these 2 spectrums is you got to pick, like, one side says, let's live for today, but you don't have any money for retirement. And then the other side is you save everything and it's hard to enjoy life. And travel is often one of these things that's high on everyone's list when they do their budget. And as a financial coach, that's what I have seen. And it makes sense. And in my personal journey, I struggle with the same concept when I was single. Do I save all my money for the future, not knowing if you're going to die or not, and you may never get a chance to spend it? Or do you go and live for today and spend it all? And I wrestle with that. And I'm going to share a few stories. So I remember, I've done a lot of travel. So I'm going to get into some of that right away. Right around 9/11, obviously what happened was there was nobody flying. All the airlines, after they opened back up, no one was flying. And I remember Delta Airlines had a really cool deal. And I lived in New York City at the time. They said if you fly twice in a short window, like a 4-month window to Florida, they'll give you a free ticket anywhere in the continental US, which includes Hawaii and Alaska. And I remember when I was saying, I'll say, hey, that sounds like a great deal. So anyway, short story, I did the 2 trips. I spent probably less than $600 or $500, but I got a free ticket to Hawaii. And I remember that trip was awesome. I spent $22 on taxes to get there. I already had hotel points from my business trip. So I used all my points. So my hotel was free. And really everything else is just whatever I wanted to do. Another year, I also love mountains. So John, that's why I asked you the question. I've been to Nepal and I went to Mount Everest, and I love I did that trip and I had a great time being adventurous. And so obviously, where do you go after you go to Mount Everest? So I went to Mount Kilimanjaro. So I did so I went to Africa. I did the whole safari thing. And then I went and did Mount Kilimanjaro. And I've done a lot of other trips. So anyway, let's get back to some finances. So the problem I have with finances is this concept. How do you finance everything, right? I talked about this. And I used to be a fan of, I started my financial journey following Larry Burkett. He wrote a book called Debt-Free Living. And then years later, I became a Dave Ramsey fan. And I've been debt-free most of my life. The problem I have with some of these teachings are, and I'll give some examples. Dave Ramsey teaches this concept of you should not worry about your credit score if you're debt-free, right? Don't worry about it. You shouldn't have credit cards and all that good stuff. And there's a lot of these rule of thumb that I struggled with. I really did. I wanted to use credit cards because I was trying to figure out how do I maximize credit card hacking if I can't use credit cards. And that's one of these things that I disagree with, right? I had to evaluate what other gurus were teaching and try to figure out, is there a right balance? And so today I'm at a different point, right? You sort of take what's good and then you change up the teaching and you make it work for you. So today I'm a big fan of credit card hacking. Now, obviously you got to be responsible. I don't want to encourage people getting in debt, but credit card hacking works fine. I'm a big fan of if you have side hustles or side hobbies, those things are great for making income while you're traveling, sort of what Brianna was talking about, right? Like the whole digital nomad. If you can run a side business anywhere in the world, that's really a great way to go. And that's what I've been trying to do. I do that using different methods. I'm a big fan of passive income. And passive income can be done using things like real estate. You can own a business, or you can just collect dividends. And that's what I do personally. I have a large stock market portfolio where I get passive income through my dividends. And I personally prefer dividends over real estate. I've done real estate before, and it wasn't very passive. And again, if I want to free up my life a little bit and be able to travel anywhere in the world, I want to make sure I can have that freedom to go anywhere. So where am I at today? So in my journey, I decided, hey, I do love traveling. So what I do is I'm a fan of hotel points. I love collecting hotel points. It works great for a family of 5. I don't really collect airline miles anymore. So that maybe I need to get back into that game, and maybe one of these gurus can help me out. I love cruising. I love, obviously with a family, cruising is really easy, hands off. I love all-inclusive resorts. And the last thing I like is I love going on trips with big groups. So I've done groups of, a few friends or other couples. But twice I've done trips with groups of over 20 people. And I thought it was just too large, right? If you go with a large group, maybe you're not going to have so much fun or you get lost in it. But I found it is probably the funnest time I ever had, right? You go with a large group of friends or family to the same destination, and it's wonderful. And so that's one of the things that I've been doing now is I try to plan these big, large group trips, and I like to bring like-minded friends and have a good time and just travel together. And that's my journey. I don't want to. I know we're about an hour into this, so I'll probably end it here. I'll end it with, you can find me on Facebook. I go under Solving Chaos on Facebook and on YouTube. And I do, for those who care about how I make money investing, I do also run a Facebook group called Investing 102. That's where I post all my stock trades. I am mostly an options trader. And I know I'm not here to sell options trading, but I know options trading can be really difficult, but I have made money in options trading every year. And so I post all my trades as I do them. I don't post just the winner and the losers. I post that on Facebook group 102. All this is free. Again, YouTube is free. But that's all I have. McKinney.
Got it. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I think Howie brought up some good points about traveling and some of his hacks that he's done and kind of getting away from that. And that's what I appreciate about Howie is that Howie is we connected obviously through church and stuff like that. I forgot what initially started it. I think it's something with finances. Started the conversation, but Howie is a Dave Ramsey coach, and I think he's like not even just like the basic level coach. He's like a little step up. But the thing I like about Howie that differentiates him from a lot of other of the Dave Ramsey coaches, and I'm close to some that are in there, is that he thinks outside the box and he kind of helps you when it comes to like planning. Okay, what are some things you're passionate about? How can you kind of make money from that, right? How can you not just save your money, but how can you invest? And I think that's the biggest area, especially for people in the church community that we come from, is people are just focusing on giving and then they're focusing on saving money, but not realizing the power in investing and how much freedom that can come. And then also investing in a way that can allow you to even give more, right? And then to take care of your family and do stuff like that. And, like how he mentioned, he posts his wins and his losses. He has some a section in real estate that he's learned from and grown from. So he does have the experiences from that. But and this is why, like I said, I also like everything he teaches and talks about, because he still learns. He's learning now, right? And he's been doing it for the past year or two. We talk back and forth about chase points and chase travel and stuff like that, but how to maximize that, right? I'm kind of the same way there with Howie, is that I'll right, people. It's funny because me and my wife are like trying to buy another house right now, and people are asking like, okay, what you got going on? You get another Airbnb or whatever? And then I'm like, oh yeah, we're trying to get one right now. And then someone asks like, how are you paying for that? People think that just because we travel a lot, like we don't have like income saved. And I'm like, that's the total opposite, right? Because a couple friends, they're saying they're planning a cruise for them and their kids, and it's going to cost $4,000 for 4 people, 2 adults, 2 kids, right? Everything. And I'm like, oh, like right now we're going to Egypt, Israel, and Jordan for 2 weeks. The flights and the hotel, so far, and visas included, so far we are going to be paying about $200 to $300 for all of that for 2 weeks. And I let them know, like, just imagine how much money you're spending, because some people don't go on vacation, but a lot of people who do go on vacation, they spend a couple grand whenever they go on vacation once a year. I'm like, just think about that, right? Let's say you're going through in 3 years, you're going through vacations with your whole family of 4, right? If you were able to use points to save money and you took $4 grand with your whole family of 4, right? If you were able to use, who is that? Oh, let me. Oh wait, did someone? Oh, people back up. So let's say let's say you were able to save $3,000, right? So instead of $4,000, you spend $1,000, right? 3,000, you times that by 3 years, that's $9,000. For some people, that's enough for a down payment on a house, right? So you got to think about that. Like, this is why I love this travel hacking stuff and partnering with Howard, because this is where it works out, the teamwork, right? You learn how to travel or you go to Big Tiny World and you learn how to make money on traveling. And now instead of spending that money, you travel hack to actually fund the trip. That money that you just earned, now you go to Howie or you go to some of your financial advisor and you learn to invest that. So when I tell people that you can actually make money without actually having a career in travel, make money from travel, they wonder why. And I'm like, well, just think about it. If you're saving 3,000 to 4,000 a year on your family, and you can just invest that money instead of spending it, you're earning money from travel, right? Whereas most people are spending money, right? So there's different tricks like that. So thank you so much, Howard. And if you want more information, make sure you follow his stuff. He posts consistently. He posts every single week how his dividends are growing. He posts how his options tradings are going. If he's losing money, making money, and overall, he has a track record of making money. And this isn't, I know that Shades mentioned earlier about the crypto stuff. How he's totally against that day trading stuff. He is talking about like actually learning and actually taking it slow, but that slow and steady actually allows you to go up and above. And like you said, he's pairing that with in that as well. He'll also teach you how to pair that up with maximizing points or maximizing travel stuff like that, so you can experience the world. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for that. So I think I am going to go next. Let me sit back down. So when it comes to travel hacking, one of the things I wanted to say is that I think Howie mentioned it in the beginning, is that you want to learn the kind of traveler you are. So just like John, just like the Shades they mentioned, right? You need to learn, do you like luxury? Do you like affordability? Not saying that affordability is the total opposite of luxury, right? Because you can get a lot of luxurious items for extremely cheap or moderate stuff, where it compares to back at home for you for extremely cheap. The reason why I say that is because once you learn that, you can kind of figure out how you need to attack this. And if you don't know what a travel hacker or rewards hacker is, basically what they do is they play the game of loyalty points. Every single hotel chain has, or any type of big travel airline. So we can talk about Expedia or Booking.com, or we can talk about airlines, or we can talk about hotels. They have loyalty programs, right? And what loyalty programs is they want you to stay loyal to that company, right? So they want you to gain points and get awards so that you can cash those awards to stay at that place and that location again, right? So being a travel hacker basically means that you learn how to hack that system. You learn how to hack the point system. So rather than spending thousands of dollars or something, you're getting it for free, or you're getting a discount of 50%, 25%, 75%, stuff like that. And that is something I learned in the past 2 years and have been trying to share with people. If you didn't see the flyer I posted in, not flyer, but it's a picture ad I posted in the group with me and my wife. I think that's when we were in New York at the Brooklyn Bridge. That's where that crop comes from. But in the last year, we spent under $5,200 on travel. During that travel, in total, by the end of this trip, because I calculated December all the way up to December, right? Because I've already paid for the stuff. We'll be going to nine countries in total between us, right? I think between both of us it's 8, but then I'll have an extra country on there as well for solo travel. So it's 9 countries. It's going to be 17 states and 33 or something like that. 32 to 34, I forgot how many cities, right? And in addition to that, that's about 60 something nights of hotel stays. There's about 60 something meals. And no, I didn't only eat 60 meals during those 69 nights. It's just, I don't really like to count food, because if I was at home, I'll spend money on food. So, but I like to count when I do eat, so you know that deducts from the travel. And it makes it seem, these are tourists going on boat rides, going on snorkeling trips, stuff like that. And we've only spent $5,200 in total on all that, right? And the total of my trips, I did the math and I calculated it, all the dates, everything. The total of my trips would have came out to over $21,000. So instead of paying $21,000, I paid $5,128 or 40 something dollars. That is a savings of 76%. Like I told you earlier, I was talking to a friend at their house this weekend, and they are planning to pay $4,000 for one cruise for the entire family of 4. And this is the only trip that they pretty much will go on for the last 3 years. And I spent almost that on me and my wife, a little bit more, but to go on like 20 times the amount of travel that they did. And it comes from travel hacking. That is going to be the biggest thing. Obviously, the biggest way to go about travel hacking is going to be credit card rewards and hacking, right? Especially credit cards. The biggest misconception, let's just get this right with credit, is that if you're spending money, you're going to go into credit card debt. No, that is not the case. What you do is you get a credit card and you only spend what you can afford. If you are someone that has a big spending problem, I would not suggest this. Go the Dave Ramsey route. But if you're someone who can control it and wants to maximize it, look at different credit cards. Like I said, figure out the type of traveler you are, figure out the type of hotel brands or the hotels or airlines that fly to the destinations that you want to go to in your life, right? The biggest travel hackers, what they do is they apply for a new credit card every 6 months. Right, every 6 months. And you might be like, oh, that's too much. I know people in this group called the Credit Society. I know Howie's in that group as well. They have 40 something credit cards. And you're like, what? I'm not saying to go do that. But what I'm saying is if you learn it, you can actually maximize this to your advantage, right? Because now, whenever you sign up for a credit card, and what I recommend for you to do is to check out the sign up bonuses. Whenever you go look for a credit card, look at the sign up bonuses, see which ones, right? Maybe join some of these credit card groups. And what you're going to do is you're going to wait to hear someone post, say, hey, I got offered 125,000 points. Guess what that's going to tell you? That's going to tell you I need to apply for this card now, right? So there's people that plan out their credit card applications. They plan it out a year, 2 years in advance. And the reason why is because after you apply for a certain amount of credit cards, some companies will block you even if your credit score is good, right? So one of the ones that I recommend is going to be Chase. Chase is going to be a great credit card because they offer a lot of flexibility. They have something called the travel portal. What the travel portal is, it allows you to actually transfer your Chase points, right? Your UR points, your membership points, your ultimate rewards points to other brands, right? So as you can see right now, I don't know if you noticed this, I am inside the airport right now. I'm actually waiting for my flight. I'm in the Delta Lounge. Right. So in the beginning of this year, me and my wife were getting into furnishing our house for Airbnb, purchasing another house, stuff like that. So what I did is I opened up a Delta Reserve business credit card. And we put all the spend on that credit card to furnish our Airbnbs, to pay for different things that we needed, repairs on cars. And that gave us enough points with that one sign-up bonus to pay for our flights to Africa, right, to Egypt. Based on that, I was able to get about, each ticket was about $1,500 if we paid for it cash on Delta. We got both of those tickets for free, right? And now because I have that credit card, we're able to enter this lounge that costs $39 every entry. We got to this lounge, they got free drinks, they got free food, they got free, you can use the Wi-Fi. Some of them have showers. I think they have showers here, right? And now we don't have to wait in the regular airport. We don't have to pay for airport food. So this is the benefit, right, of this. And the reason why I say this is because this is the easy way, right? Once you hit that sign-up bonus, you don't have to use the credit card anymore, right? And you might say, why would I sign up for a credit card not to use it? Guess what? You can cancel it in a year, or you can keep it on your credit profile so that it strengthens your credit profile as the years go by, right? And then you can use it for other things. Wait for they might send you an email saying, hey, free 5,000 rewards if you spend $10 at Starbucks or something crazy like that, right? And now you might be like, okay, I don't have a lot of spending. How can I earn more money? What you can do, instead of signing up for a credit card, or even if you have the credit card, you can look at promotions, sign up for emails from these airlines, from these hotels, because they're going to send you promotions, right? Case in point, Delta partnered with Starbucks. Delta had already partnered with Lyft. So anytime I came back from a work trip, anytime I needed to book a Lyft for someone that was renting one of my cars, or for a friend, or for myself and my wife, I linked it to my Delta account. So whenever I booked that, I got Delta rewards, and I got my credit card. So I booked it through my credit card, so I got credit card points, and I double dipped because I got Delta points as well. So now I technically got twofold the Delta points, right? And then, so that's there. When it comes to Starbucks, they just sent me an email that Starbucks partnered with Delta. What does that mean? That means whenever you order Starbucks, you get Delta points. A lot of you like coffee. There's Coffee Beans, there's other local stores. A lot of times people like the big chains. So what if instead of going to Dunkin' Donuts, you started going to Starbucks? Every time you went to Starbucks, it got you points, right? I have work trips. They pay for my meals. Guess what? They pay for, I think, $69 a day for food. If I'm eating breakfast, and breakfast is grab and go, I'm going to Starbucks and I'm getting a double smoked bacon Gouda sandwich. and I'm getting a coffee from Starbucks because work is paying for it, so it's free. But then also because they're paying for it and I'm paying through Starbucks, I'm getting Starbucks stars and I'm getting Delta points. So now I'm getting 3 times the points. I'm getting my credit card because I'm getting refunded by my work, but I pay with my credit card. So I'm getting credit card points, I'm getting Starbucks points, and I'm getting Delta points. That's 3 times, right? So these are some trips, some tricks to do. But you learn these, you sign up for these rewards. You know, some people don't like flying Frontier, but Frontier just sent me an email saying, hey, I could sign up for the wait list because of 2023 in March, they are starting an unlimited flights program. What does that mean? You pay a one-time fee. I don't know how much the fee is going to be. You pay a one-time fee and you get unlimited flights for a whole year. So from March 2023 to March 2024, you get unlimited flights as many times as you want to all locations they fly to in the US, in the Caribbean, in Central America. Right? But if I wasn't signed up with the Frontier stuff, I would not know that, right? So these are some tips and tricks, right? My credit cards that I signed up for gives me lounge access, so now I don't have to pay for food, right? And sometimes people are scared to get credit cards that have fees, annual fees. Let's break it down, right? One of my credit cards is my Delta Gold card. So I have 2 Delta cards. My Delta Gold card has a $95 annual fee. The first year it had 0 annual fee, but they gave me points. And then the next years after that, $95. Guess what? They give me 1 free flight, 1 free, I think $100 voucher for flights every single year, right? It costs, if I can find a good deal, it costs maybe $120 to go to Atlanta from LA. So now I pretty much get a free flight, right? And I'm getting reward points in addition to that. And so it's pretty much paid for. The Delta Reserve card, it is a little bit more pricey. I think it cost me $450 for this card. But guess what? I get free clear, free global entry and TSA pre-check. So especially if I'm running behind to go to the airport, case in point today, I wasn't running behind, but guess what? My wife got dropped off. She took the shuttle to the airport a little earlier than I did because I had to find parking. She probably got to the airport 20 minutes before I did to drop off bags. I still made it to the gate before she even got out of the baggage line because I had clear and I was able to go through it. So they give you clear, they give you like a $200 flight credit every single year, and I got 125,000 points. So I paid $450 for that credit card for the annual fee, but I got enough points to pay for 2 flights, which are $3,000 a piece. So would you rather pay $450 or pay $3,000, right? So these are some tips and tricks that you can learn, and then going on something like yep, CSR has an annual fee of $550, but they give you $300. So already, if you use $300 to buy a flight, a hotel, or something like that, they refund you $300. So now that's $250. Guess what? TSA pre-check is $100, so that's $150. And then you get points, you get discounts. When I first started, I had a Marriott credit card. The Marriott credit card gave me $20 every single month to pay for food. So if I went to any restaurant, I swiped it, $20 a month, I got credited back. $20 a month. The card costs $450 a year. $20 a month. That's already, and it was only 11 months, so it's already $220 off of that price, right? So these are some tips and tricks that you can learn. So I like to tell people, sign up for these awards, join these Facebook groups. I'm in a bunch of travel Facebook groups. I'm in something called Melanated Passports, which is a travel group for Black people. There's different, you can join travel groups for Puerto Rico, right? You can join travel groups for Costa Rica. I think someone mentioned it earlier. Learn these tips and then learn how to maximize the points, right? Because you don't want to say, just because I have the credit card, I can pay for points. I had a friend that's staying in Monterey, California, who used 60,000 points to book, no, more than that. She used to book a stay at a hotel. She used all her points, but she didn't know if she transferred it to Hyatt, you could get Hyatt hotels for 6,000 to 15,000 points. So because she booked it straight from the portal, she paid 4 times the price than if she would have transferred the points to Hyatt and used the Hyatt to book a place, right? I've booked hotel layovers rather than staying in the airport for a layover. We use 6,000 points to go stay at a hotel in Chicago, a Hyatt, right? A Hyatt Regency in Chicago for 6,000 points. Some of these credit cards give you 60 to 80, 90,000 points, right? So that's enough for 10, 12, 13 hotel stays. All right, so these are some tips and tricks that you can use when it comes to award hacking. And then you can go to, I'll post it in the comments. I forgot the exact, actually, I can tell you right now what the name of the website is. Let's see. The website is called, that's not it. Let's see, budgetyourtrip.com. You're going to go to budgetyourtrip.com, and budgetyourtrip.com, you can put where you want to go. And what it's going to tell you, right, it's going to tell you, hey, I'm going to Egypt. How much is it going to cost for hotels on average? How much is it going to cost for flights on average? How much is it going to cost for Uber or DD Rider or Lyft if they have it, or a local taxi? How much is a private shuttle from the airport to your hotel going to cost? How much is renting a car going to cost? So this is another tip and trick I use when booking my travel destinations when I want to save money, right? Because I don't have enough points right now or something like that. I'll go on this and say, hey, how much is it going to cost to go here? Because what you'll realize is even though a flight might be cheap, it might be expensive to stay there, right? Or even if a flight is expensive, it might be extremely affordable to stay there, right? So you need to look at that, right? You need to look at not only how much does it cost to fly somewhere, but how much does the whole stay cost? And it helps you dictate what you want to do, right? So sometimes I'll go in and I'll say, do we need to book a car? In Mexico, when we went to Cabo or Cancun, we didn't need to book a rental car. Why? Because it cost us $4 in Uber rides to drive 15 minutes. So why would I buy a car and have to pay for insurance and then risk and also not enjoy my trip because I'm having to drive, right? But when I'm going to Egypt, right? Not Egypt, when I go to Jordan, which I'm being there in a week, I realize that there's a lot of sites that I want to travel, but I don't want to pay for tours for all of those. So guess what? A rental car will cost $40, including insurance for the day. So we're going to rent a car and we're just going to drive to the different sites rather than paying for a tour. So these are some tips and tricks that can help you out. And I highly suggest people to learn this award travel hacking because you can very much so minimize a lot of your traveling needs without getting into a lot of credit card debt, without paying a lot of money and things like that. There's a big misconception when it comes to travel hacking. It's a lot easier than you think. Like I mentioned, some people sign up for credit cards every 4 to 6 months because they just get a sign-up bonus, right? For instance, Chase, if you signed up for 5 credit cards in the last 2 years, you cannot get a credit card with them. You have to wait until you go under what's called 524, right? But guess what? If I sign up for one Chase card, if you wait 2 years, right, 48 months, you can sign up for that same credit card and get the same bonus. For American Express, you can only get one bonus in one lifetime. So if you got a platinum card and you got the bonus, even if you didn't make it, even if you didn't spend the amount of money you should have spent, you're disqualified from ever getting that bonus again. But with Chase, you know that you have to wait 2 years in between. So guess what you can do? You can't have the same card. With Navy Federal, you can have multiple of the same card. With Chase, you're going to have one card at the same time. So what do? You sign up for the card. You put it on your calendar, 2 years. Hey Siri, hey Google, set a reminder in do 2 years minus 1 month, so 360, like whatever it is. Set a reminder 2 years from now, or set a reminder a year and a half from now, downgrade my Chase Sapphire card. Set a reminder 2 years from now, reapply for Chase. 2 year mark comes, or 1 year and a half, whatever you set it to, downgrade your card to another card. 2 years comes by. Hey Chase, I want to sign up for this credit card. It's been 2 years. Can you confirm that? Cool. I can qualify for the bonus. Cool. I want to re-sign up for it. My credit score has been good. I've had a Chase card since. I know you're going to approve me. Sign me up for it. And then you get your wife to sign up. You get your spouse to sign up. You get your kids to sign up. You get a referral bonus. They get their sign-up bonus, right? And then you just set that. So learning that will help you out, right? What is credit for if you're not using it for your advantage, right? Credit is you have to use credit to your advantage in a sense, but you also have to use reward points and loyalty programs. Last thing I'll share is, like I said, sign up for loyalty programs, which you're gonna, and then make sure you go on these websites every once in a while, see if they have any bonuses or specials going on. Hyatt, for example, every time you stay at 5 different Hyatt brands, so you have Regency, you have Alila, you have all these brands, or Secrets, I believe, or Dreams Resorts. You stay at 5 brands, you get 1 free night. So whenever you're traveling, which Hyatt hotel should I stay at? Look at your list and see which ones you checked off. Okay, I'm not going to stay at a Regency because I already stayed at a Regency. I haven't stayed at a Hyatt place. So I'm going to stay at a Hyatt place now. So you can hotel hop, pay the scavenging hunt, right? They cost the same price, but you're going to do this one because you haven't stayed there yet. Because every 5th one you stay at, you get a free night for the next one, right? So you do not have to eventually close the downgraded credit card. You can if you want to, or you can close the credit card in general. But a lot of times people like to keep the credit card open because it helps their credit limit and it helps their credit profile. So whenever you want to apply for a suit like a Barclays credit card, which is I think American Airlines is the Barclays card. Whenever you want to apply for a house, a car loan, or something big later on, sometimes they don't just look at your credit score, they look at your credit profile. So sometimes people will downgrade a card to a no annual fee card, right, if they can, and they'll keep it open because it'll help their credit score and credit profile in the long run. If you don't need it, you can just downgrade it. But for me, for example, me and my wife, I've referred her. She has a Chase Sapphire preferred card. I had it first. After my year was up, I downgraded it to a Freedom Flex, which gives me 5% rotating cash back. She has the Sapphire card right now. I didn't need my Sapphire card because she has it. So when I earn points on my Ink or my Flex card and I want to redeem it, I'll just transfer it to her so she can redeem the points for me. So we both didn't need to pay. I didn't need to pay another annual fee because she already has it, right? When her year is up, she can decide if she wants to keep it up or if she wants to downgrade the card, wait the 2 years, and then get it again, right? So it just depends on you. So will that limit you in being everything? No. So when you downgrade a card, you can't apply for the card again, right? But so sometimes you want to count the cost and see if you've had the card. Ultimately, when you start doing this over and over, there's going to be a cap where you can't downgrade anymore. But then that's when some people will just close the youngest card on the account and then reapply for it, right? Because if you already have a credit score or credit age that's 15 years, you might not need that credit card that's been open for a year and a half, right? So just close it, wait that time, open another one, stuff like that, right? So these are some tips and tricks, and this is what I like to talk about. So feel free to DM me if you have any questions. There's different websites you can learn. You can go to awardhacker.com, and that will tell you, you'll put your location, you'll put your location, your starting location, your end location, and the type of reward points you have or credit cards you have, and what it's going to do is going to find you the cheapest reward flight. So when I was flying to Egypt, I put my thing back from Egypt, so back from Tel Aviv, I put Tel Aviv to LAX in there, and then I put the type of programs. I have Chase, I have Amex, and I have Delta and Marriott, so I put those in there, and it gave me a list of 15 different airlines, right, that I can possibly take and how much it's going to cost in reward points. I clicked on each one, and I checked to see, okay, this one is $48,000 plus $200, right? This one is $60,000 plus $5. This one is $15,000 plus $500, right? And then I used that, looked at my reward points to see which one is going to be the cheapest, and I booked my flight. That is all I have for today. I know we lost Gabe earlier. I think he probably got busy. So I'm just going to answer this next question or see what it said. Oh, yeah, that's it. That was Howie that posted, but you know, he had a lot of free reward trips from this, right? And it's just learning the system. It's a lot easier if you do not have the time to do it or the patience or just the mindset, like you can't understand this. There are some times you can reach out to different influencers, maybe YouTube or whatever, that will book flights for you and will help you plan trips. So there are people that help you plan trips using reward points. You just pay them like $100 and they'll maximize the time. But you might think that's too expensive, but what if you pay someone $100 and they found you a way to fly to your destination, your bucket list travel for free? I would rather pay someone $100 if they could find me a way to get there for free rather than paying the full price of the trip, right? That is all I have for you. I'm going to fill in for Gabe for a little bit. Hopefully he can catch later, but Gabe has a travel gig, right? It's called Travel Gigger that you can join, and it is a pretty much a travel booking website. So it's like Expedia, but it's more private and more low key. Someone just started it about a year ago. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to go onto the website, and I'll post the link as well. You go onto the website and you don't have to pay for anything. There are different levels. The first level you do not have to pay for. It's free. You're going to sign up for it. If you want to watch the videos, you can. You don't need to, right? Sign up for it, and then you're going to be able to get the chance to look at different trips, right? Going to Colorado, going to the Smokies or whatever. And you're going to look to see, okay, I can save 23% from this. And you're going to see, hey, this trip to the Smokies costs $700, and it advertises it as a savings of 23%. So rather than paying $1,000, you pay $700, right? If you want to make sure it's legit, you can just Google the same hotel that it tells you to book, right? Or same trip. and you can Google and compare the prices. I did it myself, and I saw that there was a great difference in prices, right? Now, let's say you're like, hey, I'm not someone that wants to plan a trip. I don't want to plan like an organized trip. I just want a cheap hotel stay. I want to do the rest. I just want cheap hotel stay or cheap hotel or cheap condo. Then you get the opportunity to go to the beta program, and you can check out different hotels. You put your dates you want to check. So let's go back. The trip that I mentioned earlier that you can find if it's cheaper or not, those are set dates. So you don't have flexibility. You have to choose the set dates that you want to go to. But let's say you're like, hey, I want to set my own dates. I want to get my own hotel, blah, blah, blah. You're going to go and you can look at the beta program. The beta program is going to tell you, hey, based on your dates, these hotels are available. The discount is 17%. Now, it's not going to tell you how much it is. It's going to tell you a discount, 17%, 30%, 60%. If you want to unlock more of that, you have to upgrade to the VIP, so that's $99. But what I noticed is that usually when you upgrade to VIP, it'll let you know, hey, you'll save 30% on this deal. And I did it with the Hyatt Ziva that I stayed at. I paid points for that, so I wouldn't have done this through there. But I paid points for that. That room was about $480 a night. So my total trip came out to over $1,000, right? Hyatt Ziva. On that website, it showed a 23% discount. 23% discount. So I was able to see that the price for it was actually about $300. So by paying $99, I would have saved $150 every day. So that's $450 just by pay. So I would have saved $350 even after that. So sometimes it's good. Now let's say I want to hire discounts, or I want to be able to get Airbnbs, not just hotels, but Airbnbs at a cheaper rate. You're gonna have to pay the $298 premium VIP. And you get a lot more stuff, but the biggest thing is you get those condos, right? Now, when you click on that, it's going to show you those same discounts for the hotels. They're going to go up about 10 to 25%. So rather than being 15, 20%, it's going to be 30, 45% discount, right? And then so a lot of times that $99 fee, that $298 fee will actually save you money in the long run. The good benefit about that company is that you'll be able to see the discount before you upgrade. So you don't have to upgrade right away, right? You don't have to upgrade. And the reason why you have to upgrade is because you're using him as a travel agent. You're using his perks and his booking site, right, for it, right? So rather than you going directly on Expedia, you get the wholesale prices, but you have to upgrade so he can give you access to that because he's using himself and his name himself. And you're pretty much booking it through him without having to pay the commission to the travel agent, right? So you'll be able to see how much you can save before you actually upgrade if you need to do that. And then you decide, okay, is this worth the upgrade? Normally, like Gabe said, it's usually the first time you stay, you will make your money back or more. And that's what I noticed with the Hyatt Ziva is that I would have made my money back probably 4 times if I did pay for it directly. So, so if you want more information, I'll post a link. Go check out the videos. And then the other thing to that is not only do you get discounts, but you can actually become a travel agent and you can earn money from it. You can earn money. So what they like to do is they like to pay out, I think, 30% of the trip's value. So 30% of what someone you send to book a trip, or you book a trip for someone, you make up to 33% of that, right? And that's a way to actually earn free stay. I think when you have a free membership and you refer people, you don't get money. They just give you credit to book your own stay when you have a free membership. When you upgrade to a VIP membership, that's when you're able to actually get money, not just get hotel credit, right? So that's all I have. Make sure you check that out. Hopefully Gabe can probably come on tomorrow or the next day and actually give you some more information. I'll post a link to that. I'll post the links to everything. And then if you are watching us and you're one of the guest speakers, make sure you make your own separate post in the Facebook group, telling people where to find you at and telling people the hotel name. Hopefully y'all learned something during this 1 hour and 40 minutes. I'm going to take myself off a solo layout. If anybody else that came on as a guest speaker has anything to say, feel free to share. But thank you so much for coming on, and thank you guys for watching. I know people coming in and out, and then in the West Coast, it's the middle of the day, so people have work still. So most of my friends and stuff weren't able to come on directly because they have work, but they said they will be watching the replay. So any last words, anybody? If not, that's it. Got it.
We need to do this again.
Yes, we definitely need to. People need to learn and kind of understand and see the big picture out there, right? And that's why I'm here.
Organizing.
We all like traveling. We all like helping people. There's so much you can learn from traveling. There's so much you can be grateful for while traveling. And then there's just a lot of world out there for us to experience. And it doesn't have to be as complicated. The biggest thing is it's not that people don't like traveling and experiencing, it's people don't understand how can they afford travel, but it's a lot more affordable than you think. It's just most people do not know about it. So it's not taught as much, right? So that is it. I'm gonna finish the rest of my layover before I make my way to Paris. Enjoy this lounge while I can. Thank you all. Yeah, have a good one. Bye.